Hello, my name is Tammy Kamp, and I am an enrolled agent, which is a tax professional licensed by the IRS, specifically in tax. I own my own tax firm, Coana Financial, and I've owned that since 2002, so I've been in practice for quite a while. I am married. I have 4 kids, ages 16, 15, 12, and 10. And I live in Arizona. I guess I can start with where I was born. I grew up with a family that was in the military, so my parents travel a lot, and I ended up being born in California, and also traveled to places like Hawaii, which is where my sister was born. I grew up most of my time in New York, and as soon as I graduated high school I moved because I didn't want to stay in the snow anymore, and I moved to Florida, where I lived there for a couple of years, did some accounting work, and I really enjoyed it there. After that I moved to Tennessee, where some of my family was living. Lived there for a couple of years. From there, moved to Arizona. Honestly, I've been living in Arizona now, I guess, for 16 years. And when I moved here, I didn't even want to move here. Just ended up moving with my family. Arizona is where I met my husband, and I've just been here ever since. Like to move, but Arizona is where I'm at right now. Gosh, I don't know what to tell you about myself that's of any interest. I've got a couple of degrees, I guess. When I started going to school, I went to school and got my associate's degree in occupational studies at Bryan & Stratton in New York. That was when I was a teenager. Bryan & Stratton is a technical institute in New York, where I basically learned how to do accounting manually by hand, and we were just starting to learn how to do things in DOS actually back then. So most everything I learned as far as counting goes, I learned to do manually before I was introduced to software. From there I got my my intentions when I went to Bryan & Stratton was to get my 2-year degree and then transfer my credits to Syracuse University and get my bachelor's degree. And I figured back then, when I was just young, that if my credits transferred to Syracuse University, they would transfer to any school that I attended. So when I went to Florida, I tried to get into schools there to get my bachelor's degree, and found out that the only reason Syracuse was taking the credits from Bryan & Stratton, most likely, is just because they had an agreement and they were both local schools. So I ended up having to go, and I put off getting my bachelor degree because I had to start all over, basically from the beginning. And that was not something I was looking forward to doing. So eventually, by the time I moved back to Arizona, which was several years after getting my associate's degree, I finally decided I'm just going to go ahead and do it and get my bachelor's degree. And I went to University of Phoenix online, and that's where I got my bachelor's degree in accounting. I decided for a long time, I thought I wanted to specialize in tax. I did bookkeeping and payroll and stuff like that, but I wanted to specialize in tax, and I thought I needed to get my CPA in order to become a tax professional. So I was trying to figure out the route to go as far as getting that certification. When I was Googling tax, I came across the enrolled agent and started to learn about enrolled agents, and that enrolled agents are actually specifically tested and licensed by the IRS or the Treasury Department in the specific area of tax. So I figured, well, that's actually what I want to do. So I decided to get my enrolled agent status, licensing, and I did that. So I wanted to focus more on tax, so I decided to get my master's in taxation degree with Florida Atlantic University. I've got 2 classes this semester, which are going to be my last classes, and hopefully, and then I'll be finishing up my degree and officially have my master's. And my intentions are to move on to be a tax attorney. So after this, I'm going to be focusing on passing the LSAT and going probably to ASU here locally, because I don't want to do online for law school, and I don't think, one, that you can, that it's probably not even an option, and 2, it wouldn't be good anyway to do that. So with that said, I'm hoping I made my 5 minutes, and that's pretty much my life. Anyway, nice to meet you, and looking forward to class. Bye.